Sports physio is in the health and fitness sector. This sector of the sports industry is very big, popular and has a lot of money in it. Lots of people choose to do different classes, for example yoga classes, and go to the gym. The idea is to get fit, stay healthy as a hobby and to socialise. This is something that people do in their spare time. They do it for fun and to get fit, socialise and as a hobby. It's there to work hard, but you can also relax at the same time. There's lots of different gyms, fitness centres and sports classes all around. This means that there's lots of jobs in this industry, and it's up and coming. New sports are coming out every day, which is creating more jobs, which is therefore creating more work opportunities for work experience. Providers. This is mainly in the private sector because you need some sort of a degree to be able to practice in this sector and get paid for it. Without a degree you won't be able to legally practice and get paid. You can also volunteer, which is also at the same time basically get work experience. So if you are doing your degree and you want some work experience, then you might be able to get work experience in the sector that will teach you vital skills that you might not learn from your degree, but will be helpful in the workplace once you have your degree. Types of occupation in the job: you're diagnosing injuries, helping people to get back to fitness and helping them to recover. Because you're specifically a sports physio, you'll be doing this in sports specific injuries, so do sport rehabilitation and getting them back to sport and helping people that have been involved in sport injuries. You can, from doing this, you could work at anywhere from your local football club to the Premier League. You can work in any football, rugby club or any sport like that. You could do one-off events like working at the Brighton Marathon, being the physio there for after they've done their run, work at things like Race for Life or any big events. You can pretty much work at anything through getting this degree. Doing a sports physio course, you'll learn how to diagnose an injury, how to rehab someone back from injury, to get them back playing sport again. You'll learn how different lengths of time depends on how quickly you can get them back. So slowly getting them back into sport if they've been out for a while, or getting them back in sport much quicker if they haven't been out for long. Consideration you have to think when choosing the work experience is things like location. So when you're planning to go to your work experience, you have to make sure that it's a good place to get to. It won't take too long because obviously this will limit the amount of hours you can do at your work experience if it takes longer to get there. And travel, you have to make sure that you're able to travel to your work experience, make sure it's not too far away again, so that you can't actually travel there, or the money, like the amount of money it costs to travel. So if you have to get a train, knowing how much the train fare will cost you, and then that goes into cost, making sure that the placement doesn't have too far away travel because of the cost of it. You have to figure out whether or not you can afford to actually go to the work placement because of travel costs. Hours: when looking at your placement, you need to make sure it's in a suitable place and know what hours you can do to work around other work you may have in college. I need to make sure I'll be able to get the transport to there, in the hours. Make sure that that if I'm working later hours, there's still some sort of transport that will be able to get me home. The roles and responsibilities: when I'm working at placement, I need to make sure that I fulfil the roles that I'm supposed to do. I use correct terminology, that I work hard, I'm respectful, and that I that I know my responsibilities within the job role of the work experience. When I'm at my placement, there's going to be some things that are really good about the work experience that I learn, and there will be some things that aren't as good about the placement. Some of the good things, I'll be learning vital skills that I may not learn from getting a degree. I'll be able to do things practically which I wouldn't be able to do in a degree, getting practical experience, so when I do actually go out and do this as a job, I already have some sort of experience, and also getting a job, I'll have work experience to go out and get a job. Some of the bad things about the work placement might be that I might not be given much of a responsibility. I might not actually get to work with people. I'll have to do stuff behind the scenes which won't really happen with my degree, but I just need to make sure that I get what I need to do done, work hard, and hopefully earn the trust and right to be able to actually do some good work experience and get some good job roles. By doing this placement in the future, it will help me to get a job in the health and fitness sector. I can get places at work, for example, at any gyms, local sports centres, events like Brighton Marathon, at football clubs, rugby clubs, any sort of like basketball clubs, any sort of clubs. Because I've done this, it will give me a better chance of getting a job after the degree, because I have work experience in the sector which other people might not have. Next is sport coach, which is sport recreation. So a sport coach will normally teach you like one sport, which could be cricket, football, rugby, basketball, swimming. They teach like all different age groups, from children to adults. They start like low down, working at their local clubs, and then they go up and up and up and work their way up from maybe the under 10s to up to the under 21s, and then maybe to a higher club, to a higher position. There's all different type of coaches. So for example, in football you have your goalkeeping coach, which is different from your like on-field coach. Coaches have to teach different techniques and skills which are vital to know for playing the sport. Being a sports coach, this can be voluntary. You can get your level 1 coaching badge, and you can voluntarily do work as long as you have the coaching badge. Then you're qualified to coach. Also, you don't actually need to have a coaching badge, but most people like it. If voluntary, you'll be doing exactly the same thing as a normal coach, training, teaching skills, than a normal coach. And then it's also public, because anyone can go out and get their sports coaching badge, and actually you don't have to have it, but a lot of people like you to have it. You can then go on from your level 1 to your level 2, which is also your UEFA B. Then you can do your level 3, which is also your UEFA A. So once you get level 3, you'll have your UEFA A and B, your level 1, 2 and 3. And then you can go on to your B licence, then your A licence and pro licence. So that means you can't get any higher, and you'll be working really high up. You'll be directors of big clubs, and potentially professional clubs. Considerations, things that I need to remember when planning working experience. I need to make sure it's, again, somewhere that I can get to. I need to make sure I look at the location before I go, and that it's not too far away. Travel, I need to make sure that there's some form of travel for me to be able to get there, and that, again, if I'm working late, that there's also travel for me to get home. The cost, I need to make sure it's not too expensive. so that I can actually do it without costing myself too much money. The hours, I need to make sure that I can fit my hours around my college and any other work that I do. For coaching, my roles and responsibilities, I need to make sure I know my roles and responsibilities. I need to make sure I turn up on time and actually a bit before so I can set up. I need to be helpful, I need to use the right language, and I need to communicate differently. If I'm working with younger children, I'll communicate differently than if I was working with older children, and then again if I was working with adults, making sure I know how to communicate with different people to get the best out of everyone. I'll meet lots of different people whilst working at this placement, and being a coach, I'll coach lots of different people. Being a sport coach, you learn many skills. It will be important that when I'm coaching at any level, the skills I learn, some of the skills that I learn will be communication, time management, how to adapt a coaching session to develop everyone, and also child protection, because if I'm working with children, I need to know about that. I need to know some basic form of first aid if someone gets injured. There's always good and bad things about working at each placement. Some of the good things I think that will be is if I get to do coaching sessions by myself, I get to take the responsibility. I learn loads of different things. If I get a variety of different age groups, so I get to learn different things that coach with different levels and ages. Some of the bad things will be that I'm not the first coach, I'm the assistant coach. I don't really get to do much. I'm going around picking up the cones and setting things up. I'm not actually coaching anyone. I won't get much experience out of that. Doing the coaching placement, I'll be able to work in schools, colleges, football clubs, rugby clubs, any sort, depending on what you're doing, but in particular football, depending on what you're doing. And then sport dietitian, which is the sector of sport and exercise science. Need to be able to work in we work with professionals in the sport industry, and talk about diet and exercise and what they should and shouldn't be eating to make themselves healthy. This will make you be fit. It's making people understand that just because you eat right doesn't mean that you're going to lose weight. You need to know how to eat right but exercise at the same time. Just by cutting a meal out doesn't make you healthier. You need to eat the right amount of things. So basically giving people the knowledge they know to become more healthy. So doing a sports dietitian placement, this would be a private placement because again you need to have some sort of qualifications in this. You need to be a specialist potentially in this to do this. Considerations like location, I need to again make sure that it's not too far away, make sure that I'm actually able to get there and do it. Travel, making sure that there's available travel that I can get to, and again if I'm working late that I can get back from my placement, there's travel provided to get me back. Cost, making sure it's not too much money so that I put myself out of pocket doing it, it's not too far away because the cost of travel. I need to make sure it works around my hours, my college, any work I'm doing, and how long it takes me to travel there and travel back, because that takes out the hours that I'm actually able to do. My roles and responsibilities, I need to make sure I know what my roles and responsibilities are. I need to be polite, respectful, use the right terminology. I need to be on time, I need to have good time management. I usually use a correct manner when talking to people. In this job there's going to be good things and bad things. The good things will be if I get to